Owning a home is full of surprises. Some wonderful, some not so much. And when something breaks, it can feel like the whole day unravels. That's why HomeServe exists. For as little as $4.99 a month, you'll always have someone to call. A trusted professional ready to help, bringing peace of mind to 4.5 million homeowners nationwide. For plans starting at just $4.99 a month, go to homeserve.com. That's homeserve.com. Not available everywhere. Most plans range between $4.99 to $11.99 a month your first year. Terms apply on covered repairs.
Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants across the country. Anywhere, nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. Goldbelly ships Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garden's famous cakes. So, if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT. That's goldbelly.com, promo code GIFT.
How is everybody doing today? Jason and Destiny are joined by Rebeca Arthur, who is from my favorite sitcom of all time, Perfect Strangers. Rebecca, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good. Trying to hopefully avoid the weather that we're supposed to be getting.
Oh, where are you guys?
I'm in Ohio.
And I'm Atlanta.
Oh, I'm from Maryland. So I remember, and my hometown's going to get just hit.
Oh, yeah.
A lot.
Where are you now?
And Los Angeles.
Oh, nice.
She's tucked away in the sunny and the warm.
Yeah, I don't live in Maryland anymore, but I have a house there, so I go back a lot.
That's awesome.
That's
I
fun.
have a brother there too, so I go back to see him.
I want to go to Maryland. I haven't been there in forever. They have some really good restaurants there.
Well, most people only hear in my hometown when they're on their way to Ohio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because as you're driving up north, you go through Cumberland.
I've been to Cumberland.
You heard of Cumberland?
Uh-huh.
Probably driving to the beach or something. You had to go through Cumberland. Just to go east, you'd have to go through Cumberland. It's like a city full of church steeples and bars.
There you go.
There you go. Go get
All you
saved
need.
after you get drunk.
All you need. Throw a little bookstore in there. It's perfect.
Yep, it's terrific. It's actually a really pretty little town. It used to be a big city, but all the industry moved out, so it's just still there.
So what made you want to be an actress, Rebecca?
I have no idea. I just always knew I would be one. And I realized when I was in college, I wanted to be everything. And thought, well, obviously I can't be a nuclear physicist and a ballerina. And, you had to draw a line somewhere. So I thought, well, I'll just be all of them. I'll be an actress. So I can play them all.
Perfect. It's the best way to do it.
It was the only option for me. Actually, I just always thought I would be. I have no idea why. It was really fun.
Do you remember what it was like when you landed your first role on Search for Tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, I definitely do. Funny enough, my first role on Search for Tomorrow was an extra. And I needed to be in I think it was like a nightclub scene or something. And I shopped all over Soho looking for the perfect dress. And I'll never forget that dress. I don't know what happened to it, but it was this red sequin dress that I wore. And then the better you look, the more chance you have in the old days on soap operas of getting on camera. And in New York, you could work soap operas and never, be pigeonholed into being an extra. But, and then, I worked my way up to actually having a role. So it was fun. But a lot of my, I have very dear friends from that show. That show was really, really something for what it was. I mean, it was on for over 30 some years. And the woman who was Mary Stewart, who was the star of it. I mean, she was on radio with it and she was still on it when I got on it. My grandmother was like a huge fan. Her daughter-in-law is one of my dearest friends. We were doing a play together and my girlfriend, Christine, she comes into, that night we were getting dressed in the dressing room and she said, I just met a guy on the bus. And I said, what do you mean you met a guy on a bus? Now, because I was very super careful because I had worked as a PI before. I have such a checkered past, but anyway, that's how I got through school was I worked as a PI. So I was you don't give out your phone number. You got to be really careful, all this kind of stuff. So I said to her, what do you mean you met a guy on a bus? You just forget about him. She goes, well, he said his mom is on that soap opera that you worked on. And I'm like, who's his mom? And she said it was, Mary Stewart. And I'm like, I don't believe that. I think you better be very careful. Well, they're still married to this day. They have 2 children and now a grandchild. So moral of the story, don't listen to me.
Give your number to the guy on the bus.
Give your number to the guy on the bus. You might just marry him. So,
Never know.
Never know.
Well, Perfect Strangers, it still remains a beloved classic sitcom. How does it feel to be a part of something that still resonates so well today?
Well, it's funny because I guess I'm not aware of whether people are still watching it or not. I was surprised in a corner bakery when a guy came up to me with his little boy, and he was the gentleman was way too young to have watched it when he was a kid, right? And he comes up and he said, I just want to tell you, we just love your show. And I'm like, how did you know it was me? And he said, well, I heard you talking, and I was with my daughter, and I was like, really? And he said, yeah, and we just love that show, and we can watch it with the whole family, and and that's what I found out it was playing somewhere. Otherwise, I wasn't really aware that it was on anywhere. And most of the time, people don't recognize me because I get the Brazilian blowout and have my hair straight now, so without the big poofy hair, so but they'll think that they know me from somewhere. So I'll just be like, oh, really? And then they'll ask me what high school I went to, where I grew up, all that kind of stuff, trying to place where we've met before. And, you don't feel like, look, you probably saw me on TV a long, long time ago.
Right.
Do you remember what the audition process was like?
Oh, yeah. That's stuff you never forget. Yeah, I remember the audition was in June, and I had the worst flu for most of pilot season, which, goes from like January to March. So I kind of was out of the loop, and I get this audition for a guest spot on this sitcom. Funny thing, the guys, Bronson and Mark, used to do these promos when they first started, and I had seen them doing these promos for this sitcom, and I had done a pilot that didn't get picked up. So I was kind of jaded. And I see these guys, and I'm like, that'll never last. So, of course, this is the audition I'm going in for. I go in, and, of course, nobody knows how to say bulky. We all go bulky. And I'm looking at the sides, the script, and I'm like, yeah, this role of Jennifer's nice, but I think this role of Rachel fits me. And the casting director's like, yeah, well, we're casting, the women from the readings of Jennifer. You just have to read for Jennifer. And I'm like, wow, that's like 2 different characters. Because as soon as I read what Rachel, who turned into Mary Ann, said, she goes up to Bronson. She goes, hi, I'm Rachel. I'm a Sagittarius. And he says, hi, I'm Balky. I'm a Bartolomews. So I immediately was like, this is me over here. So I had to read for Jennifer, not my part. So I asked them, probably a couple years later, I said, how did you choose me for Mary Ann or Rachel, when I was reading for Jennifer? Because Jennifer was more the straight character, and they said, oh, we could just tell you were funny. Okay. So perfect. I'll go with that. But yes, I remember it vividly. I also remember seeing Melanie there. And on the first day of the show, Melanie wasn't in her role as Jennifer. There was another woman. And I remember when we started reading through Jennifer spoke way before Rachel / Mary Ann did. And I glanced over and I thought, are we supposed to do this like that? And I'm thinking, that just doesn't feel right. Well, it wasn't. She was gone by lunch and Melanie was there the next day.
Things work out the way they're supposed to.
So one of the things I like about Perfect Strangers is the fact that, your guys' relationship with the guys was not really a will they, won't they. You guys were just together for the duration of the show. Like, what was that chemistry like first time on set with the guys and you guys and everything? Because you and Bronson have great chemistry together.
Well, that just sort of happened. It happened in that first episode when Jennifer says, "We'll go get the cheese out of the trash," and we were just kind of making goo-goo eyes at each other, and it just kind of rolled from there. And that one, we were only supposed to be there 1 week, just 1 week. That was it. And I had a feeling that I had this feeling like it's just not over. And Melanie had the same feeling. And we were both, oddly enough, we were on the phone together. These are the days of call waiting. Okay. We're on the phone together talking about what we did do is we invited the guys over for dinner at her house only, and we cooked. Boy, we were bold. Well, she could cook. But Mark came. Bronson didn't come. We just had Mark. And we had such a lovely time. That's when I found out that Melanie's dad was Mr. Whipple. I mean, there's just all kinds of things you find out when you invite somebody for dinner. But we were sitting. We were on the phone together, and we both got a call at the same time. So we're like, okay, hold on, go back. It's my agent. Yeah, it's my agent too. I'll call you back. We hang up, and that's when they said they want to bring you guys back. And I'll never forget that. I know exactly where it was, what I was doing. I jumped up, started dancing around my living room. I was so excited. And that was we're going to bring you back for a few episodes. So it basically was kind of a trial period to see how it goes. And then we did this Christmas episode with them. And I think we had already gotten our contracts by then, because this was in October. We must have. But it called for Jennifer and Marianne were going skiing. So we stopped by the boys' apartments to tell them, Merry Christmas, have a great Christmas. And they're supposed to be driving home to Larry's parents' house in Wisconsin. I think that's where he's from. Anyway, so Mark goes over to give Jennifer a kiss, and he whips her over and plants one on her. And Bronson and I are watching this. So then Bronson walks over very timidly to me, and I whip him over and plant one on him. Well, it required Bronson to hold himself kind of in a back bend, because he's a bigger guy than he's big. And I'm holding him. And this was in the beginning when he used to eat burritos for breakfast. So I'm holding him, and we lose our footing. And for the episode in front of the audience, I'm in this snowsuit. It was like a Michelin Man snowsuit. And they took it in really tight to make it look better. Could hardly move in it, and there was no sitting down in it. And so, of course, when I whipped him over, and then he lost his balance, and I fell on top of him, I couldn't get up. They had to come and lift me off of him, and I was hysterical. I'm like, they're going to fire me. I just threw the star of the show on the ground and laid on top of him. But fortunately, they didn't. They kept me. So
that's good. That sounds like a great, funny, kind of one of those behind the scenes moments. So, and
you know what? It never made it into our gag reel, and I was always surprised, because our gag reel was really funny. But I think it was just lost, because I know they would have put that in, or they were just so shocked. We got to get her off of him. So yeah, the good old days.
Oh, I love that.
But yeah, the physical comedy was a lot. It was like, and the funny thing about the physical comedy is when we get in front of the audience, you have your adrenaline's running, and Bronson would get a little bit wild, and we just never knew how wild he was going to be. And so you just kind of rolled with it. But I did something very strange for me. I retired ages ago, but I did a play reading for a benefit for my hometown theater, which, by the way, wasn't there when I was there. So, and then from that, I ended up, the gal that runs the theater ended up meeting Tito of Tito's Vodka. And Tito wrote a script, a play, and he wanted her to do it. And she said to me, "You'd be perfect for this." And I was like, "Well, I haven't done anything in like 30 years." And yeah, I went and I did that play. What surprised me is that they brought people in, me and the other lady that I was working with. We had to do like kind of a tussle scene where we're fighting. I think I'm trying to get out the door and she's trying to keep me from getting out the door. And they had somebody come in, a fight coach, to choreograph this. Now in our day, we choreographed it. And Mark got teeth, knocked out. You got hit in the eye, all kinds of crazy stuff, but not here. Was coordinated. And then I had to kiss this guy in the play, which was really strange because I haven't kissed anyone since I married my husband almost 30 years ago. So that was weird. And actually, that's not true. I did do a film after we got married that I did have to kiss a guy. But anyway, I'm supposed to kiss this sweet guy that could have been my son. Okay. And I didn't tell anybody that, but I was a little like, what my brother said? He said, "So you're a cougar." I'm like, great. Really? Anyway, yeah, they had somebody come in to work on the intimate scene. I'm like, okay, we never did that. It would be Bronson would just on time, and we just went with it. But not nowadays. It's very structured.
Everything is very structured now.
They called Melanie, and I go, "You're not going to believe this." I won't tell you what she said, but it was very funny. It was so funny. But anyway, yeah, that was so I did the Tito's play and met Tito himself. He said to Kim, the gal that runs the Cumberland Theater, "If you put it on, I'll come and see it." Now he lives in Texas and he's very wealthy. So he flew into my little hometown, tiny little hometown, with 2 private jets and 15 of his closest friends. And they all came to the opening night.
Wow. And
they were all very nice. It was all the guys like he'd gone to college with and stuff. And that I guess kind of the guy in the play, the young man in the play was kind of like them, in their youth. But anyway, it was really fun. So that was it. Out of retirement for 2 seconds, back in.
That's so much fun. There's also a big difference now. A lot of like sitcom style shows aren't filmed in front of live audiences anymor. Was that like kind of unnerving, or did you have any big nerves with that?
I loved it. Yeah, there's nothing like the feedback from the audience. That's, when you're doing a film and it's funny. I mean, it's like, that the crew is standing off trying not to, burst out laughing, but it is fun to have that like interaction with the audience.
Similar to theater, you get that instant gratification for the performance.
Yeah, it was like doing a play every week, because every week we do the same, and it really gives you a shot of adrenaline. It's not just hurry up and wait, get called to the set. Okay, do your scene, now go back. It was a show. And we were really, I didn't realize until I would go guest on other sitcoms, we were like clockwork. I mean, show started at 7, we were done by 9. And then, the audience we would do question and answer with the audience, and then they would leave, and then we do some pickup shots. But I was out of there by 10. And unless it was a really, really difficult scene, but we had Joel Zwick as a director, and he's just brilliant. So, but it was just boom, boom, boom.
Well, I've got to go backwards a little bit and ask you what your appearance on Newhart was like.
Wonderful. All I can say about him is he was the best, just one of the best people I've ever worked with. He was just amazing. He helped me with something. I was in the middle of doing a play out here, and it was not going well. And I was talking to Peter Scolari. And on a sitcom, you come in the morning and there's a table. Everybody meets at the table to do the run through. And Bob Newhart was sitting at the end of the table with his newspaper and his half glasses on. You know how he always wore those? And he's down there. So he's down at that end of the table, and Peter is on this end of the table, and he's asking me about this play because he knows somebody who's in it. And I start to tell him the things that I'm, terrified about and that, aren't going well, and that I don't know what to do. And all of a sudden the paper comes down, and Bob Newhart looks at me and he goes, "You have to quit." And I said, "What?" He said, "You have to quit for your own safety. You have to quit." And I was like, "Oh," I said, "but I feel like that would be," this is before I was doing Perfect Strangers. So of course I was like, I feel like that'd be a bad thing if I just walked in and go, "I quit," And he said, "No," he said, "and in fact, before we get started this morning, you go use that phone, call your agent. You need to quit." And he said, "And I'm telling you this for your own good." It was very, very sweet. And then working with him, was such a generous actor. That's why everything with him was funny. I mean, he made the other person look good. He really was something.
It's absolutely brilliant because the end of Newhart is one of the best series finales of all time. It's being a dream of the character from the original show. So well done. And the other thing I want to ask you about is I only saw this for the first time 2 years ago. Scrooged. It's become a tradition in my house. What was that experience like? We recently got to see Bobcat Goldthwait at a convention, and I'm just curious what it was like working with him and Bill Murray and that cast.
Well, Bill Murray, I can't say enough about him. He was terrific. They sent me the script. I looked at it and I'm like, what am I supposed to do in this? There's nothing, And I called my agent and I said, "Is this right? Am I, and he goes, "Oh, they said that you and Bill will make it up as you go along." Okay. So I get there and he and I just riff back and forth, and then he go, "Oh, what did I just do there? I like that. What did I just do?" And I would remind him because I was young then, very young, could remember things, and I would tell him, he go, right. So yeah, it was terrific. I had a great time. Somebody recently asked me what happened to all those copies of my rear end. Honestly, I don't know. I imagine they got thrown away. That's
such a great film.
So every Christmas, somebody else will suddenly be like, "Were you in Scrooged?" And I'll be like, "Uh-huh. Yep." That would be me.
I love that.
Why are you guys called Three Geeks? Am I now one of the geeks?
Yeah, that's kind of the interview thing.
The initiation.
Just two of us and then our guest.
I love it. I didn't.
But no, we have a live show that we do on Saturdays that has like way more than three of us, but it started with three of us.
Well, that's fun. Well, now I get to be a geek.
There you go. Yeah, we've played around with three geeks and some girls now because most of the edition have been females that we've all worked together on various things. So it's been cool to join these guys and get to be part of this. They created something awesome with it.
That's so fun. Well, how long have you guys been doing this?
11 years. All of our growth has been in the last year and a half, which has been phenomenal.
That's crazy.
Yeah. We had to learn to do it. And now that we've learned, it's been fun getting to meet people like you. And it's been truly an honor to talk to you today, Rebecca.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
What are you up to now?
Well, I have a clothing business, and I always liked wardrobe, but I've been doing it. I'm in my 10th year now of selling these beautiful designer clothes. And I do like trunk shows and that sort of thing. A lot of times people just come to my house. I have a little setup over here. I didn't want to, usually I'm turned the other way and you can see all the line, but I figured you guys would be going, why is she in her closet? So I didn't want to confuse everyone.
I'll have to look it up.
It's called Cabi, Cabi.
Perfect.
And because it originally was Carol Anderson by invitation. And we're in our 24th year. It's been around 24 years. And I think it's really fun. I got into it through a friend of mine from college. So it is just all about community and getting together and having a blast. So I just got back from Phoenix, where we just saw the new line, and spent like 4 days with my besties, just having a blast. So it's all about having fun.
Cute.
And
I had
being
to look it
dressed
up.
well.
Super cute.
Well,
I'll
thank
have to
you
add
again,
some stuff to my
Rebecca.
cart.
Where can everybody find you online?
I think on Instagram, I think I'm Rebeca Arthur Golden, because I am married to that guy up there. Not God, no. He's upstairs right now. Boy, that didn't make any sense, did it? But yes, I have a husband and 2 children. I have 2 daughters. Stella is teaching art at an art conservatory high school, and Lena just quit working at Disney in legal ops, and now she's going to Snapchat.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
That's
incredible.
my crew.
Love that.
Well, again, thank you so much for your time today, Rebecca. Everybody like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
You know what's wild? Most people are still overpaying for car insurance just because it's a pain to switch. That's why there's Jerry. Jerry's the only app that compares rates from over 50 insurers in minutes and helps you switch fast with no spam calls or hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Before you renew your car insurance policy, do yourself a favor. Download the Jerry app or head to jerry.ai/Libsyn. That's JERRY.ai/LIBSYN.